Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney. On this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. We have a question here from YouTube user PokerDummyFace1024, who asks us, how long and how many times do I have to keep reaching out to my attorney before I ... So I assume swear word. Asked him to settle my case 6 months ago, and I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I have contacted him a couple of times, and he said, I'll get back to you. Last time was 2 months ago. Okay, so this is concerning to me because attorney responsiveness is one of the most important things in this industry, right? Now listen, you can tell your attorney to settle your case or not. I don't know if there was like an open offer on the table, and you're like, take the offer. Maybe, right? But if you're just calling up your attorney and be like, hey, settle my case, and there was like no settlement on the table, that's gonna take time. Could that happen in 48 hours? Sure. Is it likely to happen in 48 hours? No, definitely not. So on that particular point, I'm going to say, listen, settling cases, doesn't happen overnight. That being said, if the issue is that you're not getting calls back and your attorney's not communicating with you, that's a big problem. That's one of the number one things I tell people to look for when they evaluate attorneys. Look at the reviews for the attorney, and if you see the red flag of, hey, this attorney doesn't get back to clients, this attorney doesn't respond to me, I had to chase this attorney around for 9 months, 6 months, whatever it is, right? Not good, right? One of the things that we did at this firm when we founded it is we put in a 24-hour callback guarantee. So if you call your attorney, whoever your associate or your partner is here assigned, your team, right? Usually you're almost always going to have a team of 3 with our firm, 3 attorneys. Excuse me. So you're supposed to get a call back either same day, or if that's not possible for some reason, within 24 hours. If you call on the weekend and you say it's urgent, you can get somebody from the firm on the phone, usually about 20 minutes. But worst case scenario, you hear back on Monday if it's not urgent, right? And a lot of times it's not urgent. A lot of what people say is urgent, like, oh my gosh, I think they're going to change my schedule. This is urgent. Okay, so we'll talk Monday, right? Like nobody's going to like leave their kid's baseball game to talk to you about maybe they're going to change my schedule on Saturday afternoon when your boss isn't even in until Monday, right? But that being said, it's important to be responsive. Like the responsiveness in this field is key because part of this field, part of what we're trying to do is to give our clients back a sense of agency, right? Our clients need to be the shot caller. They need to be the people deciding what's going on, because up until when they hired us, often they've been victimized or marginalized. They've been made to feel powerless, right? And that generally isn't good for anyone on the plaintiff's side. It's not good for us because a marginalized or victimized or powerless feeling person is going to take a trash settlement, which we don't want. Also, it's not good for the plaintiff themselves, the person who's been, discriminated against in the workplace or experienced workplace sexual harassment. Part of what we're giving them back, it's not just a check. We're giving them back the power. They're standing up. They're doing something incredibly brave, incredibly noble. They're fighting, right? And we're their little monsters for hire, and we go out there and we get the bad people for them. And in doing that, it's not just revenge. Like, revenge is not really that valuable, right? Pride and revenge, very expensive things. I don't recommend either. But agency and taking back the power, tell you what, cheap at any price. That's core to humanity, right? That's down to how you want to live your life, the basics of who you are. Revenge is petty, most of the time, right? But you being the navigator, the decider of your life, that's everything. And it's tough to give someone that feeling back when they can't get you on the phone. Just is what it is, right? It's also tough to make someone feel like you're fighting for them and you're doing a good job and you got the full court press and the other side's under pressure when they can't get you on the phone. Vince, I got a question about my case. Great, let's answer it, right? Counterpoint, attorney XYZ. I got a question about my case. Yeah. I'll get back to you. Okay, great. When? Couple weeks. Couple weeks go by. Hey, I haven't heard from you. I'll get back to you. How much longer? Couple more weeks. 6 months later, you got yourself a problem. That's a real problem because now there has been no return of agency. The case probably hasn't moved because if it had, they'd be happy to communicate that. And we've got ourselves a real problem. We've got ourselves potentially a not so great relationship with the firm that should be fighting for us. And they've got a contingent percentage on our case. This is bad. This is a bad scenario. This is to be avoided at all costs. So how long do you wait? Listen, I have a very short fuse for this. Plaintiff, I'll tell you right now, plaintiff calls and I hear maybe the associate's not getting back. 72 hours. Discipline. 100%. What are we doing? You don't like your client? What, you don't want to make a lot of money helping this person? What, you don't like yourself? You hate yourself? You want your clients to hate you and you hate yourself because you hate money and you don't want to help people? Maybe you don't want to be an employment attorney. Like what's wrong with you? Something going on in your life? You're drunk? What you can't pick up a phone? How long did you work the last 3 days? Oh, 9-hour days. You couldn't work 9 hours and 15 and call your client back? Because you make a lot of money. Maybe you don't like the money. What? Do you not want to help people? Right? Like, there's a lot to be said for the position we're in, right? It generally pays fairly well if you're helping people. And if you're helping people, you're returning their calls because you work for them. This is litigation, and you are in a conflict-oriented business as an employment attorney. But there's still a service component. You have a client that you are beholden to ethically, but also just as a reality of they didn't have to hire you. And you can't help them unless they hire you. And you can't make money unless you help them, right? So they're your everything. And if you forget it, you're going to get it. It's just the reality of this industry. You're going to get grievances. You're going to have problems. Judges after you, arbitrators after you, clients after you. Listen, that is the death spiral of any employment attorney's career. That simple. It's all it is. Death spiral. That person can either shape up or they can ship out because it's not viable. Can't be, in my opinion. I know people who run practices that way, and they say things like, "Oh, well, I just take a high volume of low value cases, so it's different for me than it is for you, Vince." I don't know. It sounds like you're not staffed correctly, and it sounds like you don't respect your clients enough. Kind of how I feel about that. But who am I to tell them how to run their business? I'll run mine the way I see fit. But listen, poker dummy face, I have deep concerns about an attorney who doesn't get back to you, who has a sizable percentage of your case. That worries me greatly. Might be time to schedule an appointment to go into that office and have a real sit down and a face-to-face. Because if we were family, I'd be telling you this cannot go on. Cannot go on one bit. If this was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel so it can grow. Thanks, everybody. Take care.